When you compare how much flavor you get out of this dish with how little effort you have to put in, well, this might just be the tastiest under 30-minute meal you can make. So let's jump in. And stick around. At the end, we're going to break down all the costs, as well as how long it took to make. So this dish starts with peanut butter, which I already have in a bowl here. I'm using a natural kind of chunky style peanut butter, but you could use anything you like. To that, we're adding chili crisp. And there's a lot of different brands of this, or you can even make your own. I'm using one here called Lao Gan Ma, which is the one that's available nearby me at least. Then I'm going in with about a tablespoon of sesame oil and quite a bit of soy sauce here. It's probably a quarter cup, maybe even a little bit more than that. And then the juice of about a whole lime here. Fresh would have been better, of course, but I have this bottled lime juice right now, so that's what I'm using. And then I'm going to add about a cup of boiling water here, or almost boiling water, from a pot that I've got that I'm going to be cooking the noodles in here in a minute. And this is going to help to soften the peanut butter a little bit. And then we'll whisk this up completely until it's all combined in a fairly consistent, smooth sauce. Then into that pot of boiling water, I'm going to drop about 6 squares, I guess, of dried chow mein noodles. You could definitely use packaged ramen noodles here. You could also use any other kind of noodles that you like, really. Even regular spaghetti or spaghettini pasta would work here. Now I'm going to break down 3 stalks of broccoli. And this doesn't have to be broccoli. You could use any vegetable you like, really. I've done this with zucchini, peas, green beans. You could put in sliced carrots. Bok choy would be great. Kale, any other kind of sturdy greens like that. This dish will take just about anything you want to use up out of your fridge. And I'm just going to use the top parts of the broccoli here. I'll save these stems for something else. We're going to put those into a steamer basket. I'm going to rinse them off. And then those will go on the steamer for maybe 5 to 6 minutes, just until the broccoli is softened. Now into a wok, I'm going to put some ground beef. This happens to be partly frozen still, but that's okay. It'll break down in there eventually. You could also use ground pork here, ground chicken, turkey, cubed up firm tofu would also be delicious. And then we'll just cook that until it's brown. I'm going to add some black pepper here. And I'm not going to add any salt or any other spices. The sauce that we've made is already very salty from that soy sauce and the chili crisp. And it has a ton of flavor, so we don't need to add anything else here. And now that the through, we'll add in the mostly cooked broccoli. Then we'll put in those cooked and drained noodles. And finally, we'll add that sauce that we made at the start. And then we'll mix this thoroughly through, making sure that sauce gets on everything. And that's it, guys. That's the dish. It's so simple, such a flavor bomb. I serve this just as it is, basically with a few sesame seeds sprinkled on top. And this one's a spicy, savory, the peanut butter, it gives it a really creamy richness. And it's not even that unhealthy. It's really pretty good for you. So let's take a look at what this one cost us, both in money and in time. The largest cost here, as usual, is going to be the meat protein. This was about $7.50 for me in terms of the ground beef. The next largest cost was the broccoli, at about $4.50. And then the noodles altogether were about $1.50. Everything else in there is pretty incidental cost-wise. So the total for this dish was $16.11. We got our usual 4 dinner portions out of this, plus 2 lunch portions for the next day we got into the fridge. So this worked out to $2.69 per portion. This dish is also great because apart from the fresh vegetables, it's basically made up of things that are, for at least in our house, are always in the cupboard or the freezer. So you can pull this one together just about any night of the week in basically no time at all. And so let's take a look at how long that actually did take. The prep time for this dish was 10 minutes, if that. And I would say that, depending on what vegetables you're using, that's the bulk of the time, is just processing the vegetables and chopping them up and getting them washed and ready to cook. So Even using, I guess, pre-chopped vegetables would save you some time here. And the cooking time for this one was about 15 minutes altogether. If you get the pot of water boiling for the noodles first thing, get that on and heating up so you aren't waiting for the water to come to a boil. And then cooking the broccoli at the same time that you're cooking the meat in the wok. This dish can definitely easily come together in way less than 30 minutes. So that's it, folks. If you enjoyed this video or you found it useful, then please do hit that like button. And this is a brand new channel, so I'd very much appreciate you subscribing so that I can keep bringing you more videos. Talk soon.